first quarter had it rolling. She hit 2 back-to-back threes. She had 3 assists. It looked like the offense was starting to pick up and click on our cylinders. We have a 12-point lead. Why do you insist on taking her out? Why did you not need to take her out in that first quarter? She was playing well. They had a time. They called a timeout. She was able to catch her second win. She's okay. Let her finish.
Look at that coaching decision. Caitlin Clark is on fire, knocking down back-to-back threes, creating plays, and leading Indiana to a 12-point first quarter advantage. The offense finally has rhythm, the crowd is energized, and everything is flowing perfectly. Then suddenly, Stephanie White takes her out of the game. That one substitution completely shifted the momentum, and what happened afterward highlighted the biggest flaws in Indiana's coaching approach.
You have no size now. You got your ass whooped down low by the Washington Mystics because they go 3 bigs deep. So, Aaliyah Boston goes out. Fourth quarter comes up. Caitlin Clark says, damn this. Kelsey Mitchell, you get your ball hogging ass out of my goddamn way. Stephanie White, you been nodding off on the bench. I don't know what you doing. Everybody get out of my way right here, right now. It's the Clark Show. And what does she proceed to do? Caitlin Clark absolutely put on a show in the fourth quarter.
32 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Caitlin Clark delivered a superstar performance, carrying the Indiana Fever through the fourth quarter and overtime almost single-handedly. She was drilling deep logo threes, treading impossible passes, and dragging her team back from a 9-point deficit. For moments, it felt like the same dominant player who took over college basketball. But that's exactly why this game became so frustrating. Her incredible effort was undermined by questionable coaching choices and inconsistent support around her. The stats paint the picture perfectly. The moment Clark sat in the first quarter, Indiana went 4 straight minutes without a single field goal. A comfortable double-digit lead disappeared almost instantly, all because Stephanie White made a substitution that seemed to kill the team's momentum for no clear strategic reason.
Absolutely, it's cooking, has it rolling. And then by the time you put her back in, we go from having a 10, 12-point lead to a 1-point lead. Why? You sub back in Kelsey Mitchell. She takes 3 straight shots, misses them all, goes for a layup on Shakira Austin, gets it blocked to the goddamn hot dog stand in section 117 where y'all was giving out free tenderloin sandwiches. What the hell is going on?
That was the exact moment the game started slipping away. Kelsey Mitchell checked back in and forced 3 straight shots, all of them missed. Then Aaliyah Boston got her attempt rejected so hard it nearly landed in the concession area. Meanwhile, the Fever went through 4 painful minutes without any offensive rhythm, while their best players sat on the bench watching a 12-point lead disappear. And the frustrating part is that this has become a recurring issue. Stephanie White has made similar rotation decisions time and time again, pulling Caitlin Clark out even when she's clearly heating up. Instead of adjusting to the momentum of the game, the substitutions feel locked into a fixed schedule. Great coaches react to what's happening on the floor and ride the hot hand. White's system often looks more focused on sticking to predetermined rotations than adapting to the flow of the game.
Hell is the final, the game-winning play, not in Caitlin Clark's hands. What are we doing? This is coaching malpractice, man. This is coaching malpractice. Stephanie White's ass needs to be fired, bro. She needs to be fired. She is trash as a coach, and it is what it is. Kelsey Mitchell goes on to shoot 10 of 25 for 24 points. Do you think Kelsey Mitchell got a single assist? No. For the second straight game, Kelsey Mitchell didn't record an assist, a rebound, a nothing. All she's doing is running around Jack.
10 for 25 shooting and 24 points might look decent on the surface, but the full context tells a very different story. Kelsey Mitchell finished the game without recording a single assist or rebound, not one. And this is now the second straight game where she's logged more than 30 minutes without creating a basket for a teammate or helping on the glass. Meanwhile, nearly everyone else contributed in multiple ways. Monique Billings had 3 assists. Aaliyah Boston still managed to record an assist despite limited minutes before her injury. Temi Fadbinla added 2 assists, and Lexi Hull also created opportunities for teammates. Mitchell was the only player on the roster who failed to contribute anything beyond scoring attempts. That's why the criticism around her contract keeps growing louder. Indiana committed major money to Mitchell, but many fans are starting to question whether that cap space could have been used more effectively by adding depth and complementary pieces around Caitlin Clark instead of relying so heavily on one-dimensional scoring.
In overtime, Kelsey Mitchell misses a wide open layup. Wide open layup. You're getting paid $1.4 million. You mean to tell me you couldn't make that layup? You're getting paid $1.4 million. You mean to tell me your ass can't get one assist? $1.4 million. You can't get a single rebound, nothing. All you gonna do is run around and jack up shots. That's all you gonna do. Not only—
Take a look at this overtime sequence. Indiana had a chance to grab a 1-point lead, and Kelsey Mitchell got a completely uncontested layup but couldn't finish it. A few moments later, she stepped to the free throw line with an opportunity to bring Washington's lead down to a single possession and missed both free throws. In the biggest moments of the game, those are the plays your veteran stars are expected to convert. At the same time, Caitlin Clark was launching deep 30-foot shots and trying to carry the offense on her own because the team struggled to execute even the most basic plays around her. That's why questions about the roster construction continue to grow. Mitchell can score, but critics argue that Indiana needs more complete role players who defend, rebound, move the ball, and handle the smaller details that winning teams depend on. With a talent like Clark leading the offense, the Fever may benefit more from versatile teammates who complement her playmaking instead of relying so heavily on isolation scoring.
What's going on with Aaliyah Boston, but I told y'all we didn't have enough size. I told y'all Damiris Dantas was not a good enough backup big. So what'd you have to do? You had to play Maisha Hines-Allen and Monique Billings the whole rest of the third quarter, fourth quarter, and overtime because you could not play Damiris Dantas when I told y'all not to even bring that lady back. She can't move. She can't play. She stinks. I told y'all that before free agency even started. I told you didn't have enough size. Lynn Dunn, you went on social media and said we're all complainers. How do we look now?
And then there is the Aaliyah Boston situation, which is becoming a serious concern for Indiana. She entered the season already managing a lower leg issue, played on limited minutes, and now the same injury problems are surfacing again. The bigger issue is how exposed the Fever look without her on the floor. Throughout the offseason, many fans and analysts questioned the team's lack of frontcourt depth, warning that the roster didn't have enough size behind its starting center. Those concerns were often brushed aside, but now they're becoming impossible to ignore. With Boston sidelined, Indiana has been forced to lean heavily on players like Temi Fagbinel and Monique Billings for extended stretches against teams with much deeper frontcourt rotations. Washington took full advantage in the second half, constantly rotating fresh post players while Indiana's backup forwards wore down. At this point, it feels less like bad luck and more like a roster construction problem that wasn't properly addressed before the season started.
Says, damn this. Kelsey Mitchell, you get your ball hogging ass out of my goddamn way. Stephanie White, you been nodding off on the bench. I don't know what you doing. Everybody get out of my way right here, right now. It's the Clark Show. And what does she proceed to do? Caitlin Clark absolutely put on a show in the fourth quarter in this game. Caitlin Clark went off. I believe she had 18 points in the fourth quarter, put on bombs away, pulling up from the parking lot, shooting threes from Baghdad. She pulled up from Baghdad and made the three in Indianapolis. That's what she was doing. It was the Clark Show all over again. Magical.
Caitlin Clark completely took over in the fourth quarter, dropping 18 points and refusing to let the Fever collapse. She started launching deep threes from unbelievable range, firing pinpoint passes through impossible gaps, and electrifying the entire arena. The crowd erupted because this was the version of Clark that turned her into the biggest star in women's basketball, the player who sells out arenas and drives massive TV ratings. But the frustrating part is why it happened. Clark had to carry a team struggling with inconsistent coaching, questionable decision-making, and poor execution just to push the game into overtime against a Washington Mystics team that was still rebuilding. When you consider that Indiana already has a star rookie sensation, a former #1 pick in Aaliyah Boston, and a max contract veteran in Kelsey Mitchell, needing a heroic performance at home just to survive becomes a major concern for the direction of the team.
Overtime, man. This is crazy. Caitlin Clark coming off.
Clark for the tie. Yes!
There's nothing like her in the sport. There's nothing like Caitlin Clark in the sport. And she put absolute magical show, fourth quarter overtime to even get this thing to overtime. Caitlin Clark did her thing. She finished the game with 32 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Okay. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, I'm going to be honest.
In the final overtime possession, the ball should have been in Caitlin Clark's hands. She had already taken over the game with clutch threes and 18 fourth quarter points. But instead, the final play went to Kelsey Mitchell, who forced a heavily contested shot that missed badly. That moment summed up the Fever's biggest problems: questionable coaching decisions, poor roster balance, and too much pressure on Clark to carry everything alone. While Clark delivered another superstar performance, the team around her struggled with execution, depth, and consistency. Injuries to Aaliyah Boston have also exposed Indiana's lack of frontcourt depth, making the roster flaws even more obvious. At this point, many fans are starting to wonder how long Clark can keep putting up historic performances while the organization continues making the same mistakes.